G'day guys, Crypto Trader Vader here. I'm hoping you can hear me okay. Just doing another Poloniex trading journal. This is where I go through 35 coins you can see on the left hand side of the screen here and do some technical analysis on each of them. And if you want to skip to your favorite coin, what I do is every time I start analyzing a coin, I turn it green like this. So you can scrub through the video if you just want to get to your favorite coin, or if you have any recommendations, please leave a comment or send me a chat and I will jump in. I've got the chat open on the screen, so if you want to chat with me, go ahead. But without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so here we have Arter. Okay, Arter's been on a nice downtrend. And you know, it's right at this kind of support line that it's been resting on previously. You could even drop the support line down a little further, where it's hit it now twice, and we have forming this kind of descending triangle, which is generally a bearish move. So if the price kind of breaks out, the idea is anyway, if the price breaks out lower than this triangle, it's probably going to go lower. If it breaks higher out of this triangle, it'll probably go higher. But I also kind of find that sometimes with these descending triangles, the price will go kind of break out of the triangle this way, and then not finding enough support will actually end up crashing lower. It's almost like this fake out breakout. Anyway, that's just something I've noticed. What did I say last week on this? Bearish until next week. Well, yeah, a lot of altcoins I think are going to be like that. I'm just having a quick glance at the charts and of the predictions I made last week, and looks like a lot of them I made bearish predictions on, and definitely looks like that's the case. So what about for next week? Probably a watch on that. Don't know what's going to happen with Arter. Looks like it might break lower, but I'm not too sure. Bitcoin Cash. Wow, this is really interesting. This kind of big spikes. So every time it buys, it's quite quick. I don't know what that means, but it makes me think there's a lot of support there. If we draw in a cheeky support line, it broke the previous support, which I did say last week as well, that it would probably be bearish, which it is. Now let me just change this to the 4-hour candle, so we can see a bit bigger picture. Interesting. I wonder if that lines up. Kind of. Not really. Maybe it's got to get to this green support line here before it takes off. Definitely has dropped beneath this higher support line, and there's some support there. As I said, I think there's strong support with all that zigzagging strong buys, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be turning around at this point. I think that's probably going to be bearish until next week anyway. Black coin. Now with black coin, I did see a 1, 2, 3 bottom forming here during the week, and predicted it would probably go higher because it did break above this 2 line. And what's basically happened is something very similar to what I noticed with a lot of these 1, 2, 3 bottom formations, where we have the price will break out of this 2 line. So you can see, let me delete this box here. So it kind of breaks out of here, right? And then comes back down to rest on that same line that it previously broke out of. And it's pretty common with these 1, 2, 3 bottom formations. However, I don't know if it's common for it to kind of touch twice. I actually bought some black coin very recently at this same kind of level. Right here I bought it, I think. It's like a day or so ago. And you know, my thought is that it's going to be climbing higher, but I'm not 100% confident on that. You see this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation? It's all yes, it's a, you know, obviously a 1, 2, and then the market's failed to come back down to this low level, but it has gotten pretty close, and kind of makes me think that it's a fairly weak 1, 2, 3 bottom. That's it. Big volume spikes as well. There's definitely support there. So I dare say that the black one will probably get back up to these 4K, 4.5K sats level. Sorry, 4.5K sats. Alright, bit shares now. What's happened here? Whoa, big needle spike down there, which is never a good sign. Oh, it did close higher. It's been on an absolute tear downwards, hasn't it? 1, 2, 3 bottom formation back here. It's just definitely not looking like it's turning around. Although, hang on, last week I did say it was turning around. So let's have a look at why I thought that. 2200 sats equals bull run. Okay, well it never breached the 2200 sats, so it's unlikely. Bearish until next week on that one, and we'll move on to clams. Where am I? Poloniex, clam coin. This is interesting. So as the price has come, you know, crashing down, so to speak, following this trend line, we've got a breakthrough lower on this trend, and then it's kind of crawled up back to touch this trend line. So I think this is probably going to be bearish. The price now is likely to touch this line again before going lower. Good for me. I've got some buy orders set, I think, at about 43K sats by memory, so around down in this zone. So I'm hoping that it will go a little lower to that point. Time will tell on that one. Civic. Hey people watching, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in, I appreciate it. I'm really thankful for that. 1, 2, 3. Not really a 1, 2, could be the start of a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation that's pretty short and sweet. But, you know, that's happened many times, and you've had, you know, 1, 2, 3 formations here where it's broken above and it's caused, you know, it's called a fake out breakout where it'll go up and then come immediately back down and lower. That said, the bear market is definitely losing steam. You kind of see this curve appearing in a lot of these altcoins where the price is really starting to get to a point where it will probably start turning around. If we extrapolate on that curve, you know, it'll probably be a couple of weeks away yet, but you know, it could happen sooner than that, and hopefully it is the case. But it doesn't strike me as very strong. 1, 2, 3. I'll probably put that as a bearish until next week as well. The alt market is looking like it's starting to turn around, and as I just said, you've got this kind of start of this bowl forming. The bear market is losing steam, and you will start to see 1, 2, 3 bottoms forming, I think, in the next little while. In fact, I've already started to see a few of them. We'll come across those as the video goes on. Now this one here, Dashcoin has been going down quite substantially, and especially compared to its biggest rival Monero, and Monero's been absolutely flourishing while Dashcoin's been crashing. Crash the Dash. Just drawing in some support lines here. What's Dash gonna do? I really don't know. Looks like it's consolidating here. I've got to put a watch on that one because I can't confidently say that it's going to continue to go lower. I did put a short trade on right around this box here and made a little bit of money on that short. But yeah, I've already closed that trade and not confident that it's going to be going lower. It's a masternode coin, so there's a lot of demand. When the price gets to a certain point, it can very quickly turn around because there's such demand for these masternodes that are literally just printing money. You can see a drawing I did here last week. It does look good. Doesn't look good. To create bearish until next week is what I said last week. Seems to be resting on the support line now. Still not looking good for Decred though. Big upside down bowl. I don't know if that's a technical term. That's just what it looks like to me. But yeah, we need to see stronger signs for Decred before we can mark that as a turnaround. I'm going to pop that down as bearish until next week as well. Now Doge, this is an interesting one because this one's Dogecoin's kind of something that I'm long term fairly bearish on. I mean, long term, it's actually, you know, such a great coin because it's great for tipping and small amounts of money around the internet. But what I mean is the medium term. I think that it'll still get down to these 30k Sats levels, and it's really starting to get there now. So let's have a look at the, a couple of the previous bubbles in Dogecoin. This is one from 2016 March Feb. We can see that obviously we've had a huge spike up where it's run up to 137 Sats at one point, come crashing back down, and then this period here, it seems like all is okay. All is well. We're recovering. We're gonna make it this time. And there's several of these kind of same situations where it looks like it's coming back up. It's going back up. It's going back up. Ultimately, though, it does continue in this downward trend until it reaches a bottom. And although the bottom is not a super strong 1, 2, 3, if you move it to the 4 hour, I'm sure you'd see something a little clearer. But you could say this is the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And even if you're getting in only at the breakout, let's move back to the daily. I did that by accident. Only if you're getting in above this breakout at 48 Sats, you're still making decent money on the run up to the next bubble. So if we take that same knowledge and we apply that to the most recent bubble, we have this big spike up where this time it didn't get up to 130, it only got up to 112. I sold it about 104, and this period here, everything seems okay again. It's like, we're going back up, boys. We're going to be making money again. But ultimately, I've been fooled once with that sort of thing, and I won't be fooled again. So I think what's going to happen with Dogecoin is something that I've said in many of my videos, and that over time it's going to get down to these sub 30 Sats. And it's getting closer there. Buying up, starting to buy up at sub 20 Sats. If it gets down to that level, I'll start buying again. Because if we switch it, we're already in the daily. Look at these constant bubbles. If we change it to a week chart, oops, it just seems like it's oscillating. Big spikes constantly. And all of them have hit at least 90 Sats. No, all of them have hit almost 100 Sats. The lowest one was like 98 Sats. So if you're buying them at Dogecoin, if you can get them nice and cheap down here at these levels, 19, and even if you just aim to sell at 70 or maybe less Sats, that's still a lot of extra money and profits. Anyway, that's my deeper analysis on Dogecoin. Bearish long term to 30 sats. Oh, I just changed that to less than 30 sats because I do think it's going to be less than. Ethereum. I said last week that I'm bearish to 0.07. And well, it's gotten pretty close there. Oh, yep, I've drawn a little box here where the previous support that I picked out is. I still think that's pretty true. Weird Fibonacci there. Although it could also be turning around. It's a pretty weak turnaround if it is, but you can kind of see this double bottom here. If we count one of those double bottoms as a 1, we might be forming this 1, 2, 3. However, of course, the price would need to turn around at this point to turn that into a 1, 2, 3 bottom, which I don't think it's gonna do. Probably not anyway. So I think that that one's another one that's going to be bearish until next week. A lot of these coins are still bearish, but it's really prime time at the moment. Prime time with alts to be finding the turnaround points in a lot of these altcoin markets. Okay, here's an interesting one. Expanse. It's had a nice breakout here. What did I say last week on that? Bearish to 22k. Dead wrong on that. Oh wait, maybe I was right. When was that? 1st of March. Yeah, no, I was wrong on that one. It got to, what, 25 for sure. And then it just exploded. And it's found some support around here, which is nice to see. So a kind of a break above, a break below that would indicate bearish, right? But what's probably more likely is a bounce off of this support line. Take that with a grain of salt, though. I'm dead wrong with Expanse quite often, so. Let's find a point of selling. So if I was to buy some Expanse coin with the idea that it's probably going to bounce off the support line, where would I be looking at selling? Well, I could look at selling safely at around this zone here, right, if it adheres to this trend. 32, so I'm buying at 30, selling at 32. It's really not that much. It's not even 10%. So really, I'd want to be at least getting kind of to 38 again. But who knows if that's going to happen. I'm going to put here in the notes, bullish to 34k. But I'm not going to trade that because it's just a bit too much risk for the potential reward. Alrighty. Factum coin, 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Back here, which it failed. However, its decline has not actually declined to the point of this 1 back at this point. So we can count this as the new 3. Count this as the new 2. And if we see the price kind of move up to this point and break above this first yellow line with a couple of solid candles, then we can say, well, maybe, just maybe, she's turning around. Factum, anything above 340k sats equals bull run. I'll stand by that for sure. Last week, I think right on the 1st of March, it was approaching this kind of support line, which is why I can see that I've put an asterisk in my spreadsheet here to check up on that. There's not such an urgency since the pullback. There's not such an urgency this time around, so I'll recheck on that next week and see how that's going. Hopefully it's kind of getting to this point where it's possibly looking at breaking out again. Factum coin. Now this, sorry, folding coin rather. I like the look of this. It's got a strong volume. What looks like it could be a 1, 2, 3 bottom forming. Not super like long in the length of time. Like ideally I'd want a 1, 2, 3 bottom to kind of be around that time frame, just a little more stretched out. But these are all subtleties to these 1, 2, 3 bottom formations. Not every one of them looks the same. Not every one of them acts the same. And that's why it's so important to have stop losses and be vigilant with the breakouts. Yeah, I'm gonna put a watch on that one, I think. Oh, look at this. I've got these dumb lines. Let me just fix this. There you go. Alright, game credits. Let's move it on. By the way, if there's any other coins you guys want me to check out at the end of the vid, just shoot a chat through and I'll jump on and have a look at whatever coins you'd like, as long as it's through Coinigy. I think most coins now are on Coinigy. That's definitely bearish still. Let's have a look at where it'll probably land. Well, it'll gather some support around this point. That's where it's gathered support previously. So 16k bearish to 16k sats. It's about 18k now, so 2k sats difference there. Gnosis now seems to have bottomed out, but really it's breaking lower. Yeah, that one looks bearish as well. Last week I said if it breaks above 0142, it's going on a bull move, and that was back here because it was starting to turn around. But it never did really break above the... Oh, hang on, it touched it, didn't it? This is exactly why we want to wait for a solid candle, not just a wick. Not just a wick of a candle. Because you can see here that it's very briefly popped above this point, this resistance point, but then failed to actually hold that and come crashing back down to earth. If you are being silly and buying on the breakout of these candles without waiting for it to close or present a second candle in the same direction, then you would have lost a lot of money on that. GNT. Whoa, look at that big dip on GNT. Someone's sold a lot of GNT. That's caused this nice big wick to be formed. Back down to these historical support levels. It was starting to form this 1, 2, 3, and you can see that it almost kind of, well, actually did break out at this point, and that was a fake out breakout. You can see this come crashing back down. I'm going to pop a watch on that one and see what happens to it. LBC taken off. It's taken off back to touch 4,000 sats equals buy. Let's see if a buy at 4,000 sats would have been good. Well, I did say that here. I said it's taken off, which it had, and then come back to touch 4k sats, which it actually did. It dipped slightly beneath that. So that was good. The analysis on library credits, though, I've been wrong so many times. I thought this was a breakout here. I think back here as well, I thought, oh man, for sure it's turning around at this point. And it didn't. So I really wanted to show some strength. Volume-wise, it seems to be picking up a little bit, which is nice. So it's almost looking like it's kind of, you know, following a little bit of a trend line here, and it's a positive sign. That might be an interesting play here. You can see that it's kind of starting to move back upwards. And there is this support line here as well, this kind of mid-level support where it's at right now. So if it does start to go green, I might actually turn that into a bull. If I don't know, I don't really know what the condition would be there. If it bounces off this green support, if it really, I'm trying to say that if it adheres to this trend line and it starts to go back up here, it would be a good buy, I think, at this point. Like if it's starting to take off at this little square kind of thing, rectangle. Starts to take off, might be an opportunity to buy, but of course it might be a quick buy. It might be, if it's a low risk, trying to sell at this point, you know, without having to rely on a break above this resistance point to take a little bit of profit. So I'm going to pop an asterisk in my column there because I do want to check that out in a couple of hours, see how that's going. Alrighty, Lisk, what's going on there? Last week I said it's possibly in the 1 position. I even drew this little line there. Did take off. It did not form the 1, 2, 3 bottom that I thought it might. It's gone lower and still remain bearish on that. Litecoin. Alrighty. Just have a quick drink. Litecoin has, you know, a month or so back, finally cracked this 0.02 Bitcoin level, and you know it's done this double tops, come crashing back down. I pulled a short. I did a short trade right from about here down to about here, which was nice. So I very rarely do short trades because it requires you to trade on margin. Well, on Poloniex anyway. However, I did risk it for that dash trade that I mentioned previously in this Litecoin trade, and both were good. So that's good. However, where is it going now? Litecoin is just one of those coins that has this very strong community, has this very strong silver to Bitcoin's gold idea, and I'm bullish on it. But what about the immediate future? Well, if you squint your eyes, you can kind of see this 1, 2, 3 forming, and a breakout above that. But there's also this strong resistance at the 0.019, so not too sure on that one. Going to wait and see. Let's move on to NAV. Oh, what am I doing here? Let me delete this. Whoa, NAV just had a big spike up, didn't it? Holy cow. Someone had bought a lot of NAV, or sold a lot of NAV. Probably bought a lot of NAV. If it's above 18k sats, it's gone on a bull run. Well, shoot. The candle wasn't solid. Big fake out breakout, maybe a pump and dump or something like that. But wow, that's it's always interesting to see these these big needly spikes up and then crash back down. It's a bullish signal for me because it means that someone's buying a lot, right? And it could be fake. It could be a bad indicator where it's you know, just part of some pump and dump group or something else is going on. But overall, that sort of signal is a bullish signal. it may have bottomed. OMG. Broke this longer upward trend line, came crashing back down to earth and back down to this historical support line. And now, resting on that, where will it go? Well, it's probably going to move slightly upwards, at least for the immediate future. And I think that's what I'll put in here. Not really forming a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation on that one yet, so let's move on to 1, 2, 3 bottom formations in rep. And none there either. See a coin now. Very strong trend line downwards, seems to be continuing to adhere to that, even from up here. You know, it gets above the line for a little while, goes below the line. I'm bearish. Bearish until next week, because ultimately we need to see the market kind of prove itself, or at least give an indication that it may be turning around, and then you can bet on it, and hopefully if it proves correct you can add to that position. Steam, bullish on that long term, but last week I said I was bearish to 24k sats and it almost touched it. It was 25 where it stopped. Yeah, long term that's going to be a winner, but short term all these prices are all very much following the same downward trend. A lot of these altcoins are, and I do have hope for the immediate future, because you can see these, I mentioned it before, you can kind of see the steam getting taken out of the market, pun not intended. Wow, nice storage coins showing a lot of strength here. It's good to see. You could kind of call this a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It's broken out above this 2 line, but you know, ultimately had to consolidate for a while before it actually stayed above it. Seems like a bullish signal on storage. Maybe turning around at this point. Probably bullish. That's what I'm putting in my spreadsheet there. Stellar Lumens. Very similar situation. This is nice. This is very nice. Starting to see this 1, 2, 3 bottom forming. And forming even. But beware, because look at this point where the 2 is, where it's kind of touched this 2 line. It's hit that many times. There's going to be strong support and resistance on this second line up here. So really what we need is for the price to break and remain, give us a couple of green candles in this zone. So kind of break above 3,400 sats. Above 34 sats equals bull move. So that looks like it might be looking to turn around. That's nice. Alright, strat. So I'm just so glad that there are a couple of coins that are starting to turn around earlier. I think the market as a whole will start to move around, but you know, start to move in an upward direction. But it's good to see a couple of these coins kind of bucking the bearish trend and starting to turn around a little earlier than others. But of course you can never be sure. That, I mean, Strat definitely looks bearish to me, but I'm going to pop a watch on it because I'm really not sure whether this is the one or the two. VTC. Big 1, 2, 3 bottom forming back here. It broke out, fake out, breakouts, come crashing back down to earth. And now resting on the support line or around this historical support. Where's the next one? If it does move lower, these are the kind of levels that we might expect to see the price fall to. It does look to be getting below this line. There's a lot of downward pressure coming from this crash as well, so maybe I'm gonna say that I'm bearish on this one until about 27k sats. Sorry, VTC holders, but it doesn't look very good for that one. XCP. Ah, counterparty's just getting absolutely blasted at the moment. Smash, smash, submerge. And the historical kind of support line is back here. Although it's found a little bit of support where it's at now, I think it'll probably go lower. Sorry. 130k or so. 133k sats or so. Monero. It's one of my favorite coins, and it is absolutely taking off at the moment. I have done some really, I guess they're partly lucky trades. I think I know the Monero market pretty well. I feel I do, and you know, it's gone and absolutely smashed through this very, very long historical support. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A couple fake out breakouts there. More back here. And now, of course, it's below it. So what will happen to Monero? Will this candle close, you know, beneath this support line, or will it manage to close above this support line, or at least close to it? You know, maybe this level. Monero long term is gonna be a great buy at this level. I think overall, I think it'll go upwards, but we're talking about the immediate future in this series, and I kind of want to give you guys something better than watches on all of these coins. Although I've pulled out a few predictions. I mean, here's the thing. We've got this downward green trend line, right, that it's broken above. It could easily kind of consolidate against this line and kind of head downwards before either moving up or moving down below that. So I guess my tip with Monero is to watch along this trend line here. There's another kind of intersecting trend line here. So my advice would be to kind of watch these trend lines to see where it's going to be going. If it's going to be breaking below that, we might be seeing some more bargains in Monero for a while. But my gut feel with Monero is usually right, and my gut feel says that we're probably going to be taking off of that support line. I'll put myself out on a limb and say bullish on this one. To determine where the price is going, one of the tools we have in our arsenal is the Fibonacci retracement tool. And what we can do is we can take this and we can extrapolate from the most recent bull run. So we can click here with a fib and then drag that all the way to the top of the bull run. So very short period. You don't want to go over the long term. You want to do like the most recent run, right? I'm not going like, cause I mean technically this has been a bull run since here, but really you only want to use the Fibonacci on the most recent set of green candles. And then what we can do is we can extrapolate on that and say, well, it'll hit the negative 27, which is this level here, and it did. I mean, you know, given a bee's dick of Satoshi. And we can say, well, if it's going to be continuing in an upwards trend, then it might be hitting kind of this level here, which is 0.036. However, of course, we'd need the price to turn around and hold steady on this kind of level. And right now it's beneath the 0.5 on the fib, which isn't a good sign. Sorry, I'm not more concrete on Monero. I just really, it's in the middle of a very strong red candle, so I'm just not really sure what to say about that one. Alright, last few coins now. XPM. Lots of big spikes in XPM. There might be some accumulation patterns here before it goes a lot higher. That'd be nice. Big historical support at this level. Not so strong, but still some support at this level. And where it's at now, there's some support. I'd probably say a little lower than now, so it's above that support. XPM I'm generally bullish on as well. I'll say here bullish until next week, because it does look like the price is kind of moving upwards, and if you squint you can kind of see a 1, 2, 3 bottom forming here, another internal 1, 2, 3, like a longer term, I mean. Let me draw that out so you can see it. Longer term 1, 2, 3, so it really kind of needs to get to this level again and break out above this 95. So I'll actually put here a break above 95 equals a bull run. Alright. If there's any other coins you want me to analyze, let me know in the chat or a comment, and I'll either get to it now or next week. Ooh, Ripple following Stellar Lumens here with a 1, 2, 3 bottom forming. We have this kind of breakout point, which is nice because it's the previous resistance points as well. And yeah, really we'd need to see a break above this 9,500 sats on this one, which is oddly exactly the same as it's exactly the same as XPM. And last but not least, Zcash. One of the guys in the Facebook trading group is very strong on Zcash. I tend to agree, because if you look at this most recent resistance to a lot of the bear markets in altcoins, it looks strong. However, it's back down now to this support level. It's the other thing I'm noticing is a bit of a head and shoulders here, so I'll quickly draw that up. Not something I really use that often, but this is a head and shoulders pattern. And it's broken the neckline, so where this green kind of area ends, if it goes below that, the idea is that, well, it's probably going to go lower. And it has broken that, so I'll go with the analysis on this one and say that I'm bearish on Zcash. You know what, I'll just copy paste a bearish until next week flag. Alright, that is the Poloniex Trading Journal for another week. If you enjoyed, or if you want me to check out other coins, let me know. Hit a thumbs up, smash that like button, so to speak. No, but seriously, I do appreciate if you like it and subscribe if you want to catch these trading journals again. And also, yeah, leave me a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you think that my analysis is shit house, leave me a comment. If you like it, if you want me to do other coins, if you want me to change it up, let me know. I'm here to help you and myself. Alright, thanks so much. Have a good one, guys.